Within the walls of a small country house, one of the most heartbreaking stories imaginable took place. Anselmo, a man in his 50s, found himself dealing with a debilitating disease that had taken away his ability to work and live as he once did. Beside him, for many years, there had been Ginevra, his wife, who now seemed increasingly distant and detached. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, so you don't miss any of our stories. Ginevra, visibly shaken, decided to confront Anselmo. "I'm sorry, Anselmo, but I can't go on like this. I'm no longer your wife, I feel like just a maid. This situation is wearing me down. I'm sorry about your illness, but I have a life, a job, and I can't take it anymore." Anselmo, with a sorrowful look, replied, "Ginevra, I know it's difficult, but I thought that marriage meant facing good and evil together." But Ginevra, with a firm voice, said, "This situation has been going on for too many months, Anselmo, and I see no improvement. I don't know if I can continue like this." Anselmo couldn't believe those words. "Do you really want to leave me like this? And our marriage? Our promises?" Ginevra shook her head, now determined. "I don't know if I can go on like this. I'm sorry." Anselmo remained alone, immersed in a solitude that seemed insurmountable. Every day he faced his therapies and his difficulties without the support of Ginevra, who had now permanently distanced herself. But just at that moment of greatest desperation, fate had a surprise in store for him. One day, while Anselmo was going to his therapy, he met Letizia, a woman who shared the same waiting room. Letizia, with the smile of someone who has seen and overcome many difficulties, began to talk to him. "You know, I've been through hard times too, but it was in those moments that I realized who truly loved me." Anselmo nodded, recognizing a profound truth in Letizia's words. "She left me a few months ago," he said, referring to Ginevra. "He said he couldn't continue with me under these conditions." Before continuing, like the video to support our work. It is extremely important to us. Thank you very much. Letizia smiled understandingly. Sometimes it's better for a person's true nature to be revealed right away. People who don't really love you leave on their own, making room for those who really do. Those words resonated in Anselmo's heart like a sweet melody. Little by little, they saw each other more and more frequently, and thanks to Letizia's friendship and support, Anselmo found the strength to move forward. The therapies began to bear fruit, and his health improved visibly. When Anselmo's health improved, they decided to get married, and began to build their life together. One day, during one of the checkups, Anselmo met Ginevra again. She, seeing him, seemed incredulous. "Anselmo, I see you're better." "Yes, the therapies are working," Anselmo replied. "And this is Letizia, my wife." Ginevra, with a sharp tone, commented, "Wife? Maybe she's more of a carer. Or she's one of those who like the disadvantage to be a Red Cross nurse." Letizia, without being intimidated, answered calmly. "Being husband and wife means taking care of each other. True love is seen in difficult moments, not only when things are going well." Anselmo is the best person I know, and I'm sure that if it had been the other way around, he would never have abandoned me. Ginevra remained silent, unable to reply. Anselmo, with a smile, added, "I'm glad you left me, Ginevra. Otherwise I would never have met Letizia. Thank you." Anselmo stared at Ginevra for a few moments, with a mixture of sadness and relief. His presence, once so longed for, was now but a memory of a painful phase of her life. Ginevra, visibly uncomfortable, stammered, I didn't imagine that I could improve so much. I thought it was all useless, that there was no hope. Anselmo shook his head, smiling bitterly. Hope, Ginevra, is something we must find within ourselves, not in others. And thanks to Letizia, I have learned that I can overcome even the most difficult trials. Ginevra looked at Letizia, then at Anselmo, and without saying a word, slowly walked away, leaving them alone. Letizia took Anselmo's hand and squeezed it gently. Now we can look forward, together, she said with a smile that conveyed all the warmth and affection she felt for him. Anselmo nodded, finally feeling a sense of peace. Their path would not be easy, but he knew he could count on Letizia, who had shown him what true love meant. Months later, Anselmo and Letizia decided to organize a small ceremony to renew their vows. They had not previously celebrated their wedding. They invited only a few close friends, those who had supported them in the most difficult moments. The ceremony took place in a peaceful garden, with flowers blooming to provide the backdrop for that special day. I would like to thank all of you for being here today, Anselmo said, his voice shaking slightly with emotion. Letizia was my strength, my light in the darkness. Without her, I would never have been able to overcome all this. Our love was born from difficulties, and that is precisely why it is so strong and pure. Letizia, with her eyes filled with tears of joy, added, Anselmo taught me that love is not just a word, but an action, a daily commitment. Together, we have weathered storms and found rainbows. This is just the beginning of our journey. The friends applauded warmly, and the couple embraced, knowing that their bond was unbreakable. After the ceremony, they spent the day celebrating, sharing laughter, stories, and hopes for the future. And so, Anselmo and Letizia's story teaches us that, even in the darkest moments, love and hope can flourish and lead us to new beginnings. In your opinion, is true love shown in difficult times?